By the time Grindtime had started, battle rap had existed on camera for quite a while. Starting in the late 90s and early 2000s, different battle communities, styles, and formats took a new access to quality consumer video cameras, file sharing, DVDs, and other technological advances at the time, and began to record rap battles. This was complemented by mainstream exposure of rap battles in various media, high-profile rap battles, as well as the individual success of certain battlers outside of the ring. In early 2008, the very popular Jumpoff TV World Rap Championships just ended, and there were both demand from fans and hunger from the battlers for more organized battle competitions. Drect, the founder of Grindtime, was living in Florida at the time, attending Full Sail University. He had participated the year before in the World Rap Championships in Atlanta with his partner Hemisphere. Drect was an avid fan of all battle rap forms, from Smack DVD to Jumpoff. One format in particular shaped his vision for Grindtime: the Elements League. The Elements League was a Canadian YouTube-based rap league operating out of Nova Scotia. Founded in July 2007, it featured names such as Pat Stay, Quake, Critical, and Miracle. It provided an example of what a written YouTube-based rap league would look like. Drect was intrigued. During the WRCs, he met Matt Ills, who also lived in the Orlando area. These two complemented each other very well. While Drect had access to quality production capabilities as a film student, he was new in Orlando. Matt Ills, on the other hand, was already established within the Orlando hip-hop scene. Drect put $1,000 towards a quality camera and continued to make connections in the larger battle rap community, namely from rapmusic.com forums. And with that, Grindtime had its first battle. On February 5, 2008, State of Mind vs. Unorthodox Phrases, recorded at Full Sail University College campus, was released on the Grindtime channel.
I really don't know. You ain't stacking chips, you whack as shit, and you lucky I don't smack you, bitch. Fuck this cat with his hairline going way back. You need a fucking wave cat.
Grindtime continued to release battles and partnered with the upcoming World Star Hip Hop website, later putting this link as a caption for many of their battles. This relationship was beneficial as it was free advertising for World Star and gave Grindtime new fans. After Moss Shelton vs. Johnny Storm was put on World Star in June 2008, it amassed a good amount of views for the time. In mid-2008, Lush One, who was in contact with Drect and Matt Ills through rapmusic.com, came to Orlando to battle Unorthodox Phrases on Grindtime.
This ain't a thug rhyming, more like a bitch with a crush timing. Michael Clark Duncan Shrunk hybrid, fuck the guy from Blood Diamond.
Oh. Lush One, you suck, son. Plus, the money from this guy's trust fund was based on how well his slut mom sucked cum. She'll even take the payments in lump sum.
This battle had large implications as it signaled the expansion of Grindtime, as shortly after this battle, Lush would open up the West Coast division of Grindtime. With this, Avocado, who worked professionally in video photography, joined as cameraman for the West. This was huge as Avocado was an individual with a high level of access and knowledge about quality video recording and editing. They soon had their first West Coast event with Battle of the Bay 1.
Yo, has this ever been seen before? The world's first person who can use his cheeks to store a feast for four. Eat some more, it's worth a try. You deserve to die. But first decide if it's me or overdose of curly fries you're getting murdered by.
With Grindtime snowballing in its growth by this point, it continued to do so. In July 2008, Jay's Juice traveled to Orlando to battle Johnny Storm.
Get the fuck out of here with all that shit, man. You might be a storm down here, but by the time you reach the middle states, you dissipate into a little rain. That's because you lying to whores. You be trying to ball. I came all the way down to Florida Dolo just to get in the eye of the storm.
Similarly to Lush One, Jays would get involved in the expansion of Grindtime, this time bringing it to the East Coast. And in September 2008, the first Grindtime East Coast event would occur, with Howl the Don and Jay Focus being the main event.
I can't YouTube you, no videos are found. We can't Google him, they like, nah, yo, he ain't around. Man, this nigga harder to find than Waldo in the crowd.
Later, Pumpkinhead, also known as PH, took over the East Coast presidency. Once Pumpkinhead started to battle, Poison Pen took over this role. Grindtime would then open divisions in the Northwest and the Midwest. And with different divisions, some level of organization, and a strong pool of talent, Grindtime truly took off. Now, it's important to note that the level of success that Grindtime had early on can only be really looked at relatively. The standards of then are not the standards of today. Both YouTube and battle rap were not as popular as they are today. One example of this, Grindtime reached 1 million views on August 2009. We have single battles nowadays who reach this in just a couple days. Or consider that Drect had stated in interviews that Unorthodox Phrases versus State of Mind getting 10,000 views in the early days was so crazy to him that he thought YouTube was having technical difficulties. 10,000 views. But Grindtime continued to grow, and they would become the undisputed leader of battle rap for a period. Let's take a look at their growth. In February 2008, they had no subscribers, they had just started. By February 2009, they had 1,500 subscribers. By August of that same year, they had 4,200 subscribers. By next year's February 2010, they had 13,000. By August of that year, they had 27,000. By February 2011, they had 46,000. And by August of that year, they had 64,000 subscribers. This growth was huge at the time for a battle rap YouTube channel. One of Grindtime's big strengths was how it had battles that appealed to everybody across the board, and also specifically to different audiences. Consider that you had Kid Twist vs. Madness and Arsenal vs. Conceited at the same event. With its growth, Grindtime served as a platform for new and continuing talent. Names like Conceited, Cortez, John the Don, Solcon, and Rome got their start on Grindtime, while the names like Thesaurus, Immaculate, Hollow the Don, Dumbfounded, and Disaster developed on the name that they had already had. Grindtime would eventually expand to about 12 different divisions: New York, California, Midwest, Florida, Georgia, Northwest, DMV, Upstate New York, Houston, Arizona, and Minnesota. And with that, Grindtime gave us some of the greatest rap battles, battlers, and battle events of all time. But as we all know, the story did not stay positive. This time 4 years ago, Grindtime had 83,000 subscribers. It has 143,000 now, which sounds fine until you consider that King of the Dot and URL have grown to 500 and 600,000 during the same period. So what happened with Grindtime? There are 8 main reasons why Grindtime fell. The first reason is that there was a really big lack of quality control. The Ultimate Rap League gets a great deal of anger from fans and battlers alike for vaulting battles, but there's a good reason they do this. If URL released every battle that happened on their platform, the channel's quality would be in jeopardy. Watching newly released battles, especially from battlers you were unfamiliar with, could be a really big time waster. Their vaulting basically serves as quality control. At one point, Grindtime staff were considering making a secondary channel for lesser quality or lesser high-profile battlers. Grindtime founder Drect explained it this way: "Quality control is really an issue. I know as well as you guys that we needed a new channel a long time ago, and I really pushed for this, but not everybody agreed." The second reason for Grindtime's fall was that they really had a loss of a niche. The written YouTube-based rap league was now popular, and many leagues in different formats came soon after. Unlike the NFL or the MLB, which essentially had monopolies on the sports, battle rap was open to business for all. The third factor was that URL became popular. The rise of URL cut into the market share of Grindtime. This affected Grindtime overall, but made the biggest cut in the East Coast. Let's let the numbers talk for themselves. In January 2010, it was 11,000 subscribers to 780 for URL. By January 2011, Grindtime was still far ahead, with 40,000 to 14,000. By December 2011, it was still Grindtime in the lead, but not by that much. And by December of the following year, 2012, URL had overtaken Grindtime in subscribers. By December 2013, URL had more than double the subscribers of Grindtime. And with this, the fourth factor emerged: talent leaving. Along with the URL cutting into the market share of Grindtime, many battlers also left Grindtime for the URL. Names like Cortez, DNA, Hollow the Don, Conceited, and others. Later, prize battlers such as Thesaurus, Disaster, Roan, Nestle, and Passwords would do the same, leaving Grindtime for King of the Dot. The fifth factor was similar to this. It was staff leaving the company. Grindtime saw a huge exodus of staff from 2010 to 2012. Avocado left in September 2010 after Grizzlemania 2 over issues with payment. This hurt, as Avocado is one of the best, if not the best, in the game. For example, comparing the filming of Grizzlemania 2, which Avocado recorded, to Bola 4, which he was not recording, Huge difference. 2 months after Avocado's departure, Cap Callis, a lead Grindtime figure, announced that he would be leaving Grindtime. In late 2011, Poison Pen then followed suit and left Grindtime. A few months after Poison Pen's departure, Drect, the owner of Grindtime and the guy whose name the YouTube channel is under, left after that. With only 2 original staff members remaining, Lush One left a month after Direct's departure, leaving Maddills as the sole original staff member. The 6th factor was that Grindtime kind of developed a negative stigma. After a point, Grindtime began having a negative connotation. Grindtime battler or Grindtime style was commonly thrown around and was certainly not helpful for a growth of a league.
She about 5'9". It don't even matter, he's still from Grindtime.
Every time I look at you, you remind me of Grindtime. I see awkwards, I see disaster, I see passwords, I see a nerd trying to dumb out. I was there too. I kept them guns out. They ain't like this shit, so I went and got the fuck out.
The 7th factor was the multi-person model. The multi-person model of Grindtime, having Drect, Maddills, Lush One, Poison Pen, and others all in charge of Grindtime, was problematic. Opinions and decision making can be much harder when there is not one person in charge or there is a loose hierarchy. As Drect put it, the 3 CEO system does not work. Honestly, it's stupid as hell. It's more of an ego thing than anything else. It's just a title. We all have no real obligations to each other or to Grindtime. The 8th and final factor of Grindtime's fall was mismanagement and business problems. There were big management and business problems in Grindtime, but exactly what these problems were and who would be blamed for them depended on who you asked. Just to be clear, I'm taking no side in this, I'm simply relaying the views expressed. Maddills said in an interview with Reddit Rap Battles that he found missing funds from sponsors being used for personal flights, gear, personal projects with overseas business, and a list of other areas. Lush One claimed that he was owed money, saying, "I got hella money stolen from me while I was working on Grindtime. I'm still owed money from a gang of different YouTube checks I never received." One huge downfall in this area, and arguably the only point of agreement between everybody, is that Grindtime's business model was too informal. Grindtime owner Drect stated, "Grindtime was not started as a business, it was started as a hobby. There should have been contracts and paperwork taken care of from the jump, but we just went off the trust buddy system, which can only hold up for so long." Despite all the negatives discussed above, Grindtime had a huge impact on battle rap and has a very strong legacy. It popularized the YouTube-based written a cappella league format. It introduced us to a huge number of battlers. It provided us with hundreds of hours of quality rap battles, crazy lines, and legendary moments. Grindtime is a huge part of battle rap history. Another thing you might not know about Penn is that he's a voice actor. And actually, if you ever played Grand Theft Auto, you probably heard his voice once or twice.
That's tight, bro. Can you please take us back to the Majestic now?
Math Hoffa and Disaster have had an extremely long, extremely complicated, and extremely interesting relationship. For years, they went back and forth on Twitter and interviews going in at one another.